Hi, welcome to the Community Foundation Spotlight. I'm Doug Wilson, your host. I'm the president of the Community Foundation. And with me today we have Terese Hamilton, who is the Executive Director of the Salisbury-Wicomico Arts Council. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you for having us and for thinking of SWAC.
Absolutely. Well, you know, it's the cultural base of the entire community, right? We have to make sure we have all the arts represented as well. Before we start in, I thought I would just ask you to tell us a little bit about you, your background, Terese, and how you got involved in it. I'm going to call it SWAC, but for the audience, it's the Salisbury-Wicomico Arts Council. And by the way, you're watching PAC 14. I forgot to mention that. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you. Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm a Midwesterner by birth. I'm from the Cincinnati, Indianapolis area and moved to Chincoteague Island several years ago and became the executive director of the Chincoteague Convention Center. Some folks may remember when we had Pat Boone and Crystal Gale and some of those favorites there. So we were in the arts even then. And then I actually moved back home and still had friends in this area and found out about this position. I applied for it from Indianapolis. And I guess there were 45 applicants here local, and for some reason they wanted me, so I came back. So now this is my home. I've tried to leave and I've had to come back. So my whole background has been in event management and public relations. I've had a lot of jobs similar to this. Not actually for an arts council, but it's all been that same line. So I'm excited to be here. And
so when did you actually start at SWAC?
I started 3 years ago. It was November 2009.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you're kind of really not new to the shore because you were down in Chincoteague for a while, but now you're back.
Right. I was on Chincoteague for about 10 years.
Okay.
But I'm from the Midwest, so I know when I first came here, everybody was talking about seafood and oysters and things like that for Christmas and for Thanksgiving, and I said, where's the races and the beef and the potatoes? But I'm glad to be here.
It's there. You just have to dig.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, tell me about the Salisbury-Wicomico Arts Council. How long it's been around and kind of what does it do? What's your mission?
Oh, well, thank you. I love talking about that. Favorite subject, of course.
Good.
The Arts Council, our mission is to advocate for the arts, to fund, and to promote. So we do that. We have a small staff of 2 people, but we have a lot of volunteers and good board members, and we keep the arts alive in our county. And we also fund, but promote and advocate nationally and statewide. We work closely with the Maryland Citizens for the Arts, which is actually founded by a Salisburian, Sue Hess, years ago, and now is a great organization that advocates for the arts. And we go to Maryland Arts Day every February. This year it's February 20th, and we talk with our legislators and things like that. We fund the arts. We can't do all the arts in the county, but we can give money away for those arts to take place. We give scholarships for youth. We just promote and try to keep everyone realizing how important and crucial the arts are to our world. And I will say, I just always like to add in our fun branding, since our acronym is SWAC. We say to everyone, have you been SWAC'd?
Right.
And then once they've experienced the Arts Council, they've been SWAC'd. So we've been SWACing the whole county. It's been lots of fun.
Great. Do you serve just Wicomico County principally, or
we do
go anywhere and everywhere?
Well, no, actually, most arts councils, most states are divided like this. Each county has their arts council. So we fund and promote arts in our county. And if someone comes to us with needing a grant from another county, we refer them to their arts council. Now, we do have members that aren't from our county, and that's fine. But our principal, there's enough here to take care of. That's usually what we do. But then, of course, statewide, we help in all kinds of ways.
Well, just to help me out and our viewers out, arts councils exist in pretty much every county in Maryland?
They do, yes.
And then nationally, is there a National Endowment for the Arts? Is this kind of the umbrella organization for arts councils?
It is. And then, of course, our Arts Council responds to the Maryland State Arts Council, which is like the mothership.
Right.
It's interesting that this Arts Council in Salisbury is actually the oldest and first arts council in the state of Maryland.
Really?
Yes, it was funded in 1967, and when Maryland State Arts Council came about, they actually kind of looked to us a little bit for direction to get their thing going. So we can be very proud of that in Wicomico County.
Well, that's terrific. Well, tell me a little bit about your programs and things. I know you have an instrument barn. You've got the Salisbury Film Society, the Wicomico Artscape, the Arts Roundtable, and other kinds of stuff. Tell me about that.
Oh, my goodness.
I know, it's a lot of stuff, right?
I'll try to talk on fast forward.
Okay.
Yes, we have a lot of great things happening. We have a new program we just started called Wicomico Artscape. And it's a way for local artists to have their items and their product out in regular stores and in businesses in the county, so that people, instead of looking for mass-produced art or art nationwide, they will actually shop local. And right now we have a different artist that's on display each month in the Keepsake Gallery, Keepsake Framing Gallery, and of course the gallery gives discounts for the framing if anything's done there. That artist has all their things on display, and then we have other organizations now asking us for their art, for some of the same art, to be in their places. And the whole idea is, is to get to know the artist, because when we tell our stories, we become family and we connect. And when you know why an artist produced something, if you know the pain that went into it, the glory that went into it, the joy that went into it, then it means so much more hanging on your wall. Plus, it supports local business and it supports those artists.
Right. Are all your artists that participate in these programs, are they professional or not, or is there a mix, or what?
There's a mix. They're all so good that to most people they would just say it's all the same. But of course there is that line drawn. But they're all very good, and there's a mix of things. And of course the Arts Council, lots of people think it's just visual art, like art that you draw. But the Arts Council, SWAC, promotes visual art, choral, instrumental, dance, literary, culinary, all the arts, because we know those are what keep us alive.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I'm darn interested in hearing about the instrument barn.
Yes.
Tell me about the instrument barn.
I bet you are.
I am interested. What's that about?
Well, I know you're interested, and I want to thank you so much for your interest, because one of the reasons we're alive this year is, and have been in the past, is because of a grant generously given to us by the Community Foundation.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Surprise. Go ahead.
We faked them out, didn't we? Yes, thank you very much. This is a wonderful program that was started so that any child in Wicomico County could play an instrument. And we know that when children are involved in the arts, their test scores are higher, their truancy is down. Rarely do you see a child with a tube on his hip skipping school. It just doesn't happen. The connection doesn't happen there. So their character is built, and a lot of kids can't afford an instrument. When the economy is the way it is, parents are trying to put food on a table, they can't really afford to get an instrument. So children can go to their band directors in their schools if they have a need and desire to play an instrument, and the band directors will contact us, and we ask the community, asking folks even today, to supply their old instruments that are hanging out in attics they haven't used anymore. We refurbish them and issue them to students, and that student can have that instrument all the way through school till they graduate, and when they leave school it stays with the school, so the next child can use it.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and it takes money to refurbish these instruments, so we applied for a grant and you were able to help us, so we're able to continue getting that great joy out there.
Well, is there such a place as the Instrument Barn, or is that just the title of the program?
It's the title of the program, but I'll leave a little mystery out there. There is a great barn in the sky with full of instruments. Yeah, that's right. And you just pick one out.
Well, that's great. So if someone wants to give you an instrument, what would they do?
Oh, they can bring it directly to our building, but it's a little cumbersome. We just have to transfer it then. So if they're willing, they can take it straight to Salisbury Music Store on Eastern Shore Drive, and that's who our connection is. And Joel Smith over there has been real good to us. He'll get it fixed up.
Well, that's terrific. I just want to remind your viewers that you're watching the Community Foundation Spotlight. I'm Doug Wilson, your host and also the president of the Community Foundation. And with me today is Terese Hamilton, and she's the executive director of the Salisbury Wicomico Arts Council. So we're glad you tuned in, and we'll continue our conversation with Terese, who's also, if you can't tell, kind of a bubbly person. So tell me about SWAC's arts advocacy efforts and the Maryland's arts status.
Yes, well, I kind of highlighted a little bit of that earlier. I kind of jumped around a bit, but MCA, Maryland Citizens for the Arts, works very closely with us, and they have asked us to help form an advocacy team for this area, which we have taken on that responsibility and done. Now, we gather people in from different walks of the arts here locally, and we meet every so often and talk about ways that we can strategize and support our legislators and let them know how important that funding is.
Right.
So, for example, we just had a luncheon last week with Delegate Conway, and we're thanking him as Appropriations Chair in those budget decisions for his help with the arts. And we go to Maryland Arts Day on February 20th, and we're always looking for people to go with us. The first year I was here, we took 10. Last year we took 14. We're hoping to have to get a bus. And this is a day anyone out there is welcome to go with us. It's a fun day in Annapolis. We leave early in the morning. We drive up. We spend all day in session learning about the arts, having speakers, having arts presentations, and then we go to our legislators, and they all show up. It's quite amazing. We go into each county, each region goes into their room with their legislators, and we usually have 15 in there or so, and we tell our stories to them, why the arts are so important, and they're listening, and they come out and they help and support us. So I want viewers to know how proud we can be to live in Maryland. If you are an arts advocate or you love the arts, this is the place to be. It's the leading state in the country for the arts. We pave the way for all sorts of things to take place for the arts. There are states that don't appreciate that. For example, last year, Kansas, actually the governor of Kansas cut their arts council and their funding completely. There was no arts funding in the state of Kansas. Now we can only watch to see how that's going to affect everyone down the road. So we're very happy to want people to know that about Maryland, that our legislators are listening and they know it's important, and hats off to them.
Good. Tell me about this Arts CAD grants program, or what's that all about?
Okay, well, we re-grant. We get a grant every year from the Maryland State Arts Council to help keep us going. And in that grant, there's a pocket called Community Development Grants. And those are given to Community Arts Development Grants. Those are issued to organizations here that want to pursue the arts. For example, and my assistant and I, in our work, we can't perform the Salisbury Symphony. You know, we can't put a play on because there's only 2 of us. We're not able to do that, but we can then fund. So we encourage organizations all over the county to apply to us. Every year there's 2 cycles, a fall cycle and a spring cycle. We have 3 different types of grants. We can give, like, for example, an operating grant to an organization just to keep their lights on, to help them pay the rent so that they can keep doing what they do. We fund things like the Arts Institute Gallery, the Salisbury Symphony, the community, you know, maybe community players. They've applied. We have a grant cycle going on right now with some decisions being made on that, and dance companies, Eastern Shore Ballet. And then we have project grants, like Salisbury Chamber Singers have applied to put on a certain concert, and we'll help pay for their equipment or their music to do that. And then we have something called emergency grants. People think, can you have an art emergency? Well, you really can. You can have one. Let's say, for example, an organization has got a concert all together. They're ready to go. They've sold tickets. They've advertised. At the last minute, one of their donors or their funders has backed out, or something's happened. They're short $500, something like that. They can let us know, and if we have it available, we will help make that event continue to happen. So there are all kind of grants. It's a revolving door at SWAC. I try to let people know this. The more people are members, the more money comes in, the more is going to go right back out to keep everybody singing, dancing, and enjoying the arts.
Terrific. What about arts in school?
Yes, arts in school. Well, you know, with the way times are, when the budget cuts come, who gets cut? The arts.
Right, arts, music, and even sports sometimes. Yeah.
Yes.
PE, right?
Yes, all those things people consider luxuries that really aren't. They're really essential. So we've come in with, it comes again from the Maryland State Arts Council. It's a re-granting program called Arts Enhanced Education. And we encourage teachers all over the county to come up with art projects, integrated art into their school, their classrooms. It can be a year-round project. It can be a single project for a week. And apply for a grant, tell us how the children are going to be affected, what's going to take place. They want to bring in an artist or a performer, and we will give them a grant to help pay for that, to keep those arts alive in school so they don't go down the drain.
So they don't go down the drain. That's lovely. Explain to me why the arts are important for people. What does it do for a community? What's the value of the arts?
My goodness, there is not enough time. I'll do my best. Well, you know, the arts are a gift to the soul, that we may achieve gladness in the midst of tedious living. You know, the arts lift us to higher ground simply for the asking. There is so much that the arts do for our lives. You know, if you lived in a box and you never experienced any of the arts, you never drew or danced or saw a TV show or heard a radio show or saw a play, what would your life be like? You know, you would just go to work every day, you would exist, but what would be the point? You know, the arts are what keep us grounded. The arts are the signature of a civilization from back before time, back in caveman days. There were drawings on the walls to mark our progress. So the arts are not just a luxury, for one thing. The second thing is they are actually, when people realize this, when you support the arts, you support yourself, because they're an economic and an academic engine. The arts bring in 66 $66 billion a year in economic activity
for
our country.
Okay. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, excuse me, 666. Sorry about that. I have to get that figure straight.
It's 666 billion.
Yes.
Per year.
Yes.
As a result of arts.
Economic activity, yes.
Oh my.
Coming from the arts. Now there are jobs, I don't have all those figures with me today, I've got them in the office, but there are jobs produced statewide. When people go to an arts event, they eat out, they buy a souvenir, they stay in a hotel. So when we talk about like Kansas, for example, closing their arts door virtually, we'll watch that the next couple of years to see how that affects them economically.
Right.
So it is an economic engine, and of course it's an academic engine, producing character and students for tomorrow that can lead the way with all the things that I talked about earlier. So when you think of that, it's not a luxury, it's absolutely an essential.
Right. You mentioned students, and I think we have something. Could you describe the SWAC Scholarship Assistance to Youth in the Arts program? And if anyone were interested, how they can get involved in that, because it sounds pretty interesting to me, because I think I know what it is, but I want to hear you say it.
Sure. We have 4 different scholarships, and every year we encourage seniors in high school that are going into college or students already into college to apply to us if they are going to make a career out of the arts. And that could be, again, varied things. It could be architecture, it could be filmmaking, it could be dance, all the different arts. And then we have a panel of judges that they will audition, that will judge them, and we'll issue. We would like to help every single one. At this point, we help as many as we can. That's why we're always pleading for membership. But we have the Helen Brent Award for Arts and Education, and Helen Brent just passed away last week, and we miss her and thank her for all her help to make that scholarship alive. We have the Paul Hyde Grant. It does the same thing. Then we have the Doug Smith Award, Douglas Smith, who just passed away a few years ago. And that scholarship's wonderful. It's a little different. It's for younger children. The others are for older, going to college. This is for that child that wants to go to band camp, that wants to take piano lessons or guitar lessons, and mom and dad don't have the funds. They can apply to us, and we will help them pursue their arts as a younger child for 16 and under, so that they can continue that and get that interest going. And then we have the Nancy Allen Grant, and that is used lots of times for our Maryland Summer Center for the Arts program at Salisbury University, where we work with the kids in the summer and bring in artists, and we'll help provide that, or sheet music for schools. There's all kinds of things that can be used for. So people should just contact us. The main thing is March 8th this year is the deadline for applications for scholarships, and the auditions will be in April. And then the Nancy Allen Fund is used different times of the year. There's not really a deadline on that. So they should just let us know. If they have children that want to help, we can see what we can do. And people can find out about going to your website. Yes.
Correct? Why don't you tell us the address?
Okay, it is www.getswac.org. Getswac.org.
There you go. And on it there'll be information about the grants opportunities and events and things like that. Is there anything coming up?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. We have 2 major fundraisers a year, a spring and a fall. And this year, the spring event is called Dining with the Masters. We pick a different theme.
Yes.
And last year we had Aaron Go SWAC. We did Irish.
Aaron Go SWAC, love it. Yes, I recall that.
It was fun. This year we're doing Broadway's Best. It's going to be March 16th at the Diamond Lodge in Fruitland. And we encourage people to dress in their favorite Broadway character. And then we have a lovely dinner and silent auction, and we'll have a Broadway performance. So it's going to be a lovely evening. It's a great way to have a good time, meet your friends, and make some money for SWAC. So we would like people to put March 16th on their calendar.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great. Well, listen, tell us a little bit about how SWAC is supported. You mentioned you get funding through the State Arts Council, right?
That's correct.
And you, I suspect, use that money for grants and other kinds of program activities and things. But how else do you receive funding?
Well, the grant and then the memberships. And that's why we're always encouraging people to please join SWAC. And it's such a nominal fee. I mean, a senior citizen's $25 a year, an individual's $40, a family's $60. And that money goes so far. It also enables you to get the Access on the Arts Quarterly magazine mailed to your home, and it has a 3-month pull-out calendar of all the arts events. So membership, and we also with membership this year, we have arrangements with local businesses to get discounts on your products if you show your SWAC card. So there's some benefits coming back to you.
There you go.
So membership membership is the big key. We're just imploring people to join. You know, we have a county of 90-some thousand, and if we could get, you know, 1/10 of 1% of that to join SWAC, we could really do wonders. So we're looking for membership. The other thing is our events, like our Dining with the Masters event coming up. We have a summer fundraiser in the summer, Maryland Summer Center for the Arts, and in the fall we have our night at the winery. So just coming out and supporting our events and becoming members. Those are our other two ways.
Great, but they can also contribute directly to SWAC, right?
Oh, yes.
I mean, they can write you a check.
Absolutely. They don't ever have to even look at us.
And guess what?
What?
It's the end of the year.
That's right.
And there are tax advantages to doing that kind of thing, right?
Absolutely.
So if people were interested in supporting the arts by sending you know, maybe they're not able to attend a performance of some type, but they can certainly support the arts by sending a check to...
Yes, to Salisbury Comical Arts Council, P.O. Box 884, Salisbury, Maryland 21803, or they can call us at 410-543-ARTS.
And get it that way.
And get it that way. And that is a great thought. Yes, they don't even have to participate. They can just send that check, and we will use it so wisely.
I know you will. Terese Hamilton, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. Do you have one last message you'd like to leave with our audience before you go back to the SWAC office?
Well, I would just say in this beautiful season that we're in, it's so full of arts. Look all around you. The holiday season is full of arts. So there's a lot to remind you of how important they are. And please be part of that. Please jump on board and join SWAC and support the arts.
And I'll just echo that as we sign off, that the arts are an important part of the fabric of our community, and you probably don't realize the impact it has on you, our environment, and us as individuals. And I would encourage you all to please support the arts by attending events, going to the theater, choral things, going to museums and paintings, and enjoy all that kind of thing. And it's been great. So I'm Doug Wilson, and on behalf of the Community Foundation Spotlight, thank you so very much for tuning in. I do want to leave you with one other quick message. A lot of people don't have access to PAC 14, you know, because they don't have cable. So I did want to send a little message out. So all you cable viewers out there that are watching us today, we'd like you to tell all your friends that don't have cable that if they go on pac14.org and they look at, what is it called? Video on demand. There's, I guess, a pull down or drop down, video on demand. If you hit that, you can see all of the shows that you're not able to see because you don't have cable. So anyway, it's pac14.org, video on demand, and you can pick up these shows. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We wish all of you, I guess the SWAC and I and the folks at the Community Foundation and PAC 14, wish all of you a very happy holiday season and best wishes, and we'll talk to you next year. Bye-bye.
Would you like to see your community organization or nonprofit group featured on PAC 14? To get started, contact us at 410-677-5014 or visit our website at www.pac14.org. PAC 14 is a great way to connect with your community.